If you own a house, would you let your kids' friends live there for free without asking their parents? When my mother passed away about 15 years ago, she left me her home. Since it was smaller than the house my husband and I already owned and fully paid off, we decided to rent it out. It's been a steady, reliable source of extra income for over a decade. But recently, we decided to forego that profit for a much more personal reason. To give you some background, my husband and I have been close friends with Sam and another friend, George, since our college days. We all grew up together, and naturally, our kids became close friends too. Our son, Henry, is 24. Sam's son, Kyle, is 23, and George's daughter, Anne-Marie, is also 24. They've always been a tight-knit trio. Henry and Kyle are currently in grad school and working part-time jobs. Anne-Marie just finished her master's in the spring and landed her first big girl job, as she proudly calls it. Wanting independence, the three of them moved in together. The problem was the only place they could afford was in a really rough part of town. We didn't love it, but we respected their desire to stand on their own 2 feet. However, after a couple of scary incidents in their building, I couldn't just sit by anymore. I approached the three kids with an offer. I told them they could move into my rental property. The deal was simple. If they covered all the utility bills and kept the place in good shape, we wouldn't charge them a dime in rent. Yes, we'd lose the profit, but knowing the kids were safe was worth way more to me than the monthly check. The kids were thrilled and immediately accepted. They are all over 23, so I didn't even think to ask my friends, their parents, for permission. They're adults, right? Sam and his wife thought it was an incredibly generous move and were totally on board. But George? George is furious. He called me up, incredibly irritated, claiming I had undermined him. Apparently, one of the main reasons Anne-Marie moved out in the first place was because he was going to start charging her rent at home to teach her responsibility. When she realized she'd have to pay rent anyway, she figured she might as well get her own place. George insists I'm spoiling them by removing the rent burden. He actually wanted me to rescind the offer to his daughter. I told him absolutely not. That would be totally unfair to Anne-Marie, and frankly, the offer was already made and accepted. I tried to explain that they aren't getting a completely free ride. I had them sign a strict lease. They have to split all the bills evenly, electricity, water, internet, and they are buying all their own groceries. They are learning to budget. They just aren't paying an arbitrary rent fee to me. The lease states they have to maintain the property, and if anyone misses their portion of the bills, they get evicted. That rule applies to my own son, too. I even have money set aside for damages just in case, though I trust them. George still thinks I'm hindering their development. Even my husband, who supports the decision, thinks I should have run it by George first, just out of courtesy. But I find that ridiculous, and Marie is 24 years old. She's an adult. It's my property. Why do I need George's permission to offer his adult daughter a safe home? Am I the asshole here?